I want to start off just some quick reaction on news of the day. The Senate just passed the big bill. It goes back to the House. Could be the POTUS as soon as this week. How does that help you carry out your mission when that funding comes through?
Well, look, House needs to get that done ASAP. What that bill is going to do for us is going to be amazing. It's going to give us more resources. It's going to let us hire more agents, put more law enforcement agents on the ground to look for public safety threats and national security threats, because that remains our priority. It's going to give us more detention capability. We need more beds. Now, Alligator Alcatraz is up. That gives us a few thousand beds, but right now we need every bed we can get. Before the Florida facility came up, we only had 1,800 available beds. We'll fill them in less than 2 days. So we need beds. We're already in the hole $500 million on detention. So we need that money to build thousands of more beds that we're going to need, because I mentioned the other day, we got over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal convictions walking the streets of this country. We need more bed space. We need more agents to arrest them. We need more beds to hold them. And we need more transportation contracts to remove them from the country. So this bill is going to give us the resources we need to do more of the great things that the Trump administration is already doing.
Yeah, thank you. I want to pivot to sanctuary cities because that's in the news right now too. DOJ is suing Los Angeles. The New York mayoral candidate came out and said that if he is elected, that he's going to resist ICE efforts in the city. What's your reaction to that?
Well, thank God we're suing sanctuary cities, because they're sanctuaries for criminals. No one should agree to that. As far as the person in New York City, that says, he's going to shut ICE down and not cooperate, have fun with that. Good luck with that. You're not going to stop ICE. Matter of fact, we're going to double down and triple down in New York. And the reason why we're doing it, not because of any one man, it's because we know we got a problem in New York City. We know they're releasing public safety threats, illegal aliens to the community every day. We know they're releasing illegal alien national security threats to the community every day. So we know we have a problem. We got to send more resources, because rather than one agent arresting one bad guy in a county jail, safety and security of a county jail, which is safer for the alien, safer for the agent, much safer for the community, we got to send whole teams in the neighborhood to look for somebody on their turf. We have access to who knows what weapons. So we got to send entire teams. So knowing we have a problem in New York City, we're going to send additional resources to New York City and flood the zone. We're going to flood the zone in communities. We're going to flood the zone at work site. We're going to find these people, and they're not going to stop us. So if he says he's going to push back on ICE, push back all you want. You're not going to stop us. You're not going to slow us down.
Aside from the interior, the Southwest land border was, record numbers coming in pre-administration change, and now we're looking at some of the lowest numbers we've ever seen there. How did you gain operational control in such a short amount of time?
Well, we got President Trump. President Trump's a game changer. I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I ever worked for took steps to secure the border. Even Obama and Clinton took steps to secure the border. They didn't do very good at it, but President Trump's unprecedented success. So when he came back in office, he signed a series of executive orders that we proved were effective during Trump 45, remain in Mexico, clear safe country agreements, end catch and release, build the wall. So all the things that we knew were work, proved to work, we put back in place. But what really the success is, we're enforcing the law. We're enforcing the laws on the books. We're not making this up. Joe Biden could have did the same thing if he wanted to enforce law. For instance, one law is clear: if you come to the borders illegally, you don't have proper documentation, enter legally, the law says you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, not released to an NGO. You shall be detained, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're detaining and removing. We're not releasing people. Matter of fact, last month we had 0 releases. At the same month last year, they released 64,000 into the country. We released 0. So the border is the most secure border in history of this nation right now, because of President Trump and the men and women of the United States Border Patrol, who are standing in that line, defending the border and doing a great job at it.
You have a nemesis south of the border in cartels. I mean, human trafficking has been largely profitable for them, and suddenly that's cut off, right, to a large extent. How have their tactics changed since the new enforcement priorities began?
Well, look, they're always looking at ways to get around this. We're going to bankrupt the cartels. We're already doing it. Under Joe Biden, they made a record amount of money in smuggling aliens, trafficking of women and children, sex trafficking, and dope, moving drugs across the border. And with a secure border, with every single border patrol agent now on the line, patrolling, not changing diapers, making baby formula, making hospital runs, dealing with a humanitarian crisis. the cartels aren't getting all their products across, whether it's people or drugs or guns, right? So we're bankrupting them slowly, and they're taking to maritime more, whether it's San Diego or Florida, but we've increased Navy ships, we've increased Coast Guard, we've increased CBP, Air and Marine. So they're not coming there either. So we are virtually got the most secure border in history of this nation. We're hurting them. The intelligence reports say that the cartels are focusing now on Asia and Europe to sell more of the product there. It's easier for them. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Matter of fact, I looked at the numbers just last week. Fentanyl seizures are dropped by half, over half. So what's the secured border means? Less fentanyl deaths in the United States, less sex trafficking women and children, less known suspected terrorists crossing that border. The secure border saves lives and protects this country. And we got the most secure border ever in the history of this nation because of the leadership of Donald Trump.
Yeah, and the focus has been on the southwest land border because of those numbers for so long. We just had a correspondent go to the northern border where agents that she spoke to said that they would like more resources there. They have miles of unfenced border. With the passage of this bill seeming to be imminent, well, and you spoke of those resources coming, can they expect an extra allocation there at the northern border?
Absolutely. Great question. Yes. The numbers on southern border were down 96%. Northern border were down 90%. So, but the numbers are much, much less up there, of course. But no, I grew up on the northern border. I still own a home on the northern border. So I take it personally, but there's always a plan, especially now with this funding, to put more resources on the northern border, especially updated technology. There's thousands of miles of border. And so we got to put more boots on the ground. We need more technology in areas that just can't be patrolled. So there's places like the St. Lawrence River where you can get across that river in a minute and a half, and with very few resources up there to stop them. That's why we're working very closely with the Canadian Border Forces, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and their federal government. They've increased enforcement efforts north of the border. We're going to vastly increase enforcement efforts southern of the border to stop cross-border crime. So this bill also add resources to the northern border. Got our eye on it. We're not going to rest until we know the northern border is just as secure as the southern border.
Yeah. You guys flipped the script on the CBP One app when you started here. You turned into CBP Home. So it went from being an app to welcome people in to saying, we're going to help you leave. And that offer included assistance, financial assistance to get people to voluntarily self-deport. Have many people taken you up on that offer? Do you have any figures to suggest that people are doing that?
Last time I looked, I think it's around 60,000, if I remember right. Don't hold me that number. I think it's about 60,000. But and we got to do more in the CBP Home app. The people who signed up for it is increasing every day, and I think they're increasing because they see these nationwide enforcement operations. They know we can either search you out, find you, and deport you formally, which places a bar against you coming back from anywhere from 5 years to 20 years to never, to leaving on your own and leaving yourself an opportunity to come back under, visa, work visa, or if you have a U.S. citizen child, they can petition for you to be, relative of U.S. citizen. Leave yourself a legal option to come back. I think the more enforcement operations you see, the more self-deport stations you're seeing. We think that the number overall, there's a lot of people leaving the country who aren't going through the system of CBP Home app. We got a lot of intelligence reports that show just about 1 million people since President Trump has been president have left the country. And a lot of them we think are criminals because they know the focus is on criminals. They know we're out there searching for them. They know that we catch an illegal alien with a weapon, he's going to be prosecuted before he's deported. If we got an illegal alien with drugs or guns or any other crime, they're going to be prosecuted when we find them, then deported. So I think a lot of these people are leaving out of fear of being arrested, prosecuted, and deported. We're sending a strong message to the whole world that it's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's not okay to commit another crime once you're here illegally. That's what we're focusing on. They know it. I think the message is working.
We've seen a lot of criminals with violent crimes on their past, sex crimes in their past that do get deported under these new enforcement actions. I had a question. So when someone is removed from the country like that, are they automatic? Do you have agreements with the countries where they're going to ensure that they're going to be imprisoned when they get there, or is it really up to the jurisdiction where they go to determine what happens to them, just to make sure that like a violent, dangerous criminal isn't ending up on a street in somewhere in Central America where they're going to try to come right back?
Well, we don't have that problem. Every country that accepts their, nationals in return, they understand. We give them full criminal background. They know they're a public safety threat. They don't want to walk in their streets either. But for the countries that won't take them back because they're too violent, they don't want to take them back, we'll deport them to another country. We have many countries stepping up saying we'll take them. And we're working with those countries for what we call third country placement. So for those really, really bad people that their country don't want them back, we're working really hard on third safe country agreements to remove that country. There's the only option that is not on the table is that they stay here. They're not staying here. They're going to be leaving here. We just have to find a place to put them.
And one more from the southern border here. We saw you guys announce those special military zones, and it looks like that's going to expand. What type of success have you had so far with putting the military at the border to prevent illegal crossings?
Military is a game changer. Uh, they're doing things that Border Patrol don't have to do now, whether it's intelligence, whether it's radar, whether it's sensor oversight. And they can lead Border Patrol to areas where they see an incursion. Adding to the national defense areas adds more criminal charges. And we're educating Mexico and other countries. If you cross through a national defense area, you're facing Title 50 prosecutions. So we're sending a strong message. There are certain areas on the border to trespass on a military site is a criminal charge on top of a charge of illegal entry. So again, consequences. The more consequences we have, the more it drives down illegal immigration. I mean, the other day, the total crossings one day were 88. The strong message of consequences is working.
Yeah. Tom, thank you. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you wanted to talk about today?
No, the House needs to get this bill passed. The more money we have, the more bad guys we take off the street, the safer our neighborhoods are going to be across this nation. So God bless President Trump. Proud to work for him. He's making this country safe again, one day at a time. With more money, we'll make it safer. So House, get this done quickly. We need it.
All right. Tom, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time today.
Got it. Thank you.